Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Kyrie Flytrap 4. So this shoe is going for 90 bucks and the Flytrap line has always been good. Kyrie's Flytrap line is his budget line. You know, he has his signature shoe, and then he has his low, and then the Flytrap. Flytrap has always been around 90 or 100 bucks. The first one was definitely my favorite. The second one, number 2, was really good. And now we are on the 4. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. Let's get it started off with the traction. So as far as the traction goes, they're using a pretty interesting traction pattern. So interestingly enough, the gym is open. I've been going to the gym to work out. The basketball court is closed though, and they will not let us ball in there, but I actually go in there to ball a little bit, shoot around, do some drills like dribbling and stuff like that, and test the shoes out a little bit. Keep in mind, the floor is filthy in there. It's very dusty, so it does not stick well, but I did have some shoes sticking well. I tried a whole bunch of shoes out. The Kyrie Flytrap 4 on an indoor court was terrible, and it did not have a good bite. And even if it did have a good bite on a clean court, you know, like I said, it was a dusty surface that I was trying it out on. You know, it wasn't good. So I guess we know for sure that it's going to be very bad on a dusty setting. And even if I did try to wipe, and I also try to wipe down the floor there, you know, with like a towel or paper towel and some like water, it still didn't have a very good bite. So I don't know, traction, it is very disappointing because the Flytrap, or just like Kyrie shoes in general, always have good traction, and the 4 just wasn't good for me. And then on an outdoor court, it was terrible too. You know, it was just absolutely terrible. I just couldn't get a good bite. Very inconsistent with the stops. Durability seems very good though. It looks like it wore down just a little bit, but it still looks very good, you know. So durability seems good, which is kind of surprising, since the rubber is kind of soft. The stop on indoor court, outdoor court, it's really bad. Of course, there is an outsole curvature like all Kyries have. That feels very nice. And then as far as the heel to toe transition goes, it's pretty smooth. You know, you got a nice rounded shape here in the heel, a nice curved shape here in the forefoot. Look at that. it just makes you want to roll like on your toes, which feels very nice. You have a lot of forefoot flex. So heel to toe transition is very fluid. As far as the cushioning setup goes, it feels okay. You know, for the most part, it's not the best. You feel low to the ground, you feel very responsive and all that, which is good if you're a guard and if you don't care about impact protection too much. If you got them young legs, you should be good to go in this shoe, you know. But if you want impact protection, if you're a little bit older like me, I guess, this cushion is terrible, you know. So here in the heel, you got Phylon. It's super stiff. I mean, it compresses a little bit, just a little bit, but it's nothing nice. Here in the forefoot, you got a rectangular zoom unit. So I'd say that's like a medium-sized zoom unit. So of course we have the hexagon zoom unit, which is the smallest that Nike makes, and then the rectangular zoom unit, and then of course they have like the PG3, PG1, you know, that I guess kind of like a half circle zoom unit. And then they have the zoom units where it like takes up the entire forefoot, for example, like in the Jordan 34 and the Jordan 35. So I guess the zoom unit that the Kyrie Flytrap 4 is using is more on like the smaller medium size, and it's all right. You know, you can definitely feel the zoom unit. It's kind of bouncy and it kind of helps you feel a little bit faster, but it's relatively small. I do like that they did top load the zoom unit, so that's nice. But other than that, the forefoot zoom unit is the only thing that the Kyrie Flytrap 4 has going for it, you know. So yeah, it's literally like every other Kyrie Flytrap model, I guess, besides the zoom unit, because all the other ones you couldn't really feel the zoom unit all too much. So I guess the Flytrap 4 has the best cushion out of all the Flytraps, but that's not you know, saying much, you know. All right, moving on to the materials. So they're using like a really thin, cheap textile material. It feels actually kind of soft, you know. Like in hand, of course, it feels a little cheap and all that. And, you know, it's a $90 shoe, and of course, the material here in the back is terrible with this like synthetic suede material. But once you have it on foot, it feels great. It feels super minimal, very thin. It conforms to your foot very well, and it doesn't really stretch all that much either, so it's pretty supportive. Here on top of the tongues, you have that same crappy synthetic, you know, suede material, and then here on the bottom of the tongue, you have a mesh material. So I mean, on foot, it gets the job done. It feels great. Here in the ankle area, you have a little bit of padding, And I also do kind of like the lining material, you know. The lining material looks a little bit cheap, you know, and it feels like a fleece material, but on foot it feels pretty nice. So the materials are pretty nice, I guess, on foot. All right, moving on to the fit, I went true to size, and it fits me pretty damn well. You know, I would say it fits pretty much like every other Kyrie Flytrap. Very snug here in the toe box area. True to size should be good for length. If you have a wide foot or you like a roomier fit, I would suggest going up half a size or maybe even a full size, because width wise it's also slightly narrow. So if you've tried on the Kyrie Flytrap 3, it should be the exact size that you should get here in the Kyrie Flytrap 4. It is easy to put on, you know. You have an oversized tongue that opens up a lot. It's not really a heel tab though. I wish, you know, it did have a heel tab, but that's okay. And you just tighten up the laces and you're good to go. As far as the support and lockdown goes, it's really good in this shoe. You know, lateral support, I mean, I don't think I've ever had an issue with lateral support in any Kyrie shoe, you know. So lateral support, of course, you have the foam coming up here in the heel. You have an internal TPU heel counter. Here in the forefoot, the rubber does come up actually, you know. You have this rubber coming up, and then you have like these straps kind of, you know. Here in the first two eyelets, you have a little bit of a strap that goes down here into the material, giving you extra support for lateral movements. So no problems with lateral support. Lateral stability was also good. You know, I don't know what it is. Remember in the Kyrie Flytrap 2, where this shoe is also pretty much the same. You know, it's pretty narrow as far as the base goes, and also it's rounded here. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to keep the outer curvature a little bit here on the lateral side as well, which is kind of weird. But you know, I never had issues with lateral instability for some reason. Maybe it's because the cushion is just so low to the ground. Maybe that's it, right? Because like I said, it's not super wide as far as the base goes. So yeah, I mean, I was good to go. It didn't feel unstable like LeBron's did. As far as the ankle support goes, it's pretty good. You know, it's kind of like a mid cut, I would say. You know, it definitely does cover up the ankle bone. When you tighten the shoe all the way, as far as like the last like couple of eyelets goes, you definitely feel a little bit of ankle movement restriction, so that's good. And as far as the weight goes, this shoe is obviously super light, probably like 10.48 ounces. Let's check the right pair, 10.41 ounces. Okay, so pretty much the same weight. There's some shoes that I've been testing. I believe it was like the LeBron 18, where it was like 0.4 ounces different for the left and right shoe. So I guess that's good. You know, it's pretty much the same weight. It feels super light. It's like that cheap light, you know. Usually budget models feel very light because they're using very cheap materials, you know. And yeah, I mean, it feels very minimal, very light on foot. You feel very quick besides the traction, you know, because you're sliding out all over the place. But other than that, yeah, it's a super lightweight shoe. The ventilation also is good. There's not a whole lot of airflow throughout this upper. Like, if you blow through it, you can feel a little bit because the material is just so damn thin. But, you know, it's not glued down or anything, and it wicks away moisture. So your foot is actually pretty cool in this, you know. It wasn't super hot or anything, or maybe it's because it's getting super cold. I'm playing at night and it's literally like 40 degrees when I play. It's really cold. That's cold for someone that lives in California, guys. As far as the aesthetics go, it's okay. I say it looks better than the 3, but the 2, okay, my favorite is definitely the 1, and then the 2, and then the 4, and then the 3, or maybe I tie up the 3 and the 4. But you know, overall it's not bad. You can definitely tell it is a budget shoe. I like it when you can't really tell it's a budget shoe, you know, like the KD Tray 5.8 or like the Renew Elevate. You know, those are, you know, budget model shoes, but you can't really tell that they look cheap, you know. The Kyrie Flytrap 4, for some reason, I can definitely tell this is like a budget model shoe. I mean, that's not a bad thing, you know, but it is what it is, I guess. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, don't get it. Get the Flytrap 3. I don't know what they did with the rubber compound here, besides it being durable, which is good. The bite was absolutely horrendous. The cushion is not that good. I mean, for the same price, or like $10 more, you can get the Renew Elevate, which has way better cushion and way better traction. You can get the KD Tray 5.8 as well, which had same thing, you know, way better cushion, way better traction. Materials are pretty much the same. And yeah, so don't get it. I would not recommend getting the Kyrie Flytrap 4. It was a pretty big disappointment for me. The only place I would say you can play on with this shoe is if you're playing on indoor court and it's super duper squeaky clean. And that's probably when you should be okay. I mean, most basketball shoes are very, very good on a very, very clean court. So it's not saying much. But anyways, that about concludes my review of the Kyrie Flytrap 4. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.